right, welcome back to the second part of consumer behavior. Now, we're talking about trying to understand consumers firstly as people, humans, and the kind of things that will make them behave in a certain way. So, when you're talking about consumer behavior, you're looking at making people behave in a certain way. There are always two sides to it, consumerism and the kind of attitude that influence behavior. Now, there are different things that inspire and motivate people to take a particular kind of action. And as a strategist, you have to also understand all the key components. What are the influences of the consumer you're trying to connect? Sometimes for them to buy something, it could be the kind of story that you're telling. They can like it, they might love it, or they could totally hate it. Sometimes they could like it, but they're not actually taking an action. Why? Because they're not necessarily compelled to. So, who would make them take that action? If they're particularly interested in your product, have they done a search for it? So, word of mouth could be key. So, when you understudy your target audience's day in the life and you're able to understand him first as a human, besides just his consumption points, you're able to understand that he has one or two people that he looks up to or that he respects, the brother, the mother, brand ambassador that he looks up to, celebrities or influencers, online influencers, and you use that as a vehicle to tell or drive your story, which is why it's always important to understand people beyond consumption points. If you understand people's day in the life by mapping them in the customer decision journey toolkit, then you're able to see what they do between sunrise to sunset, which is why we are giving that exercise. I hope you've checked it out. Now, day in the life, and we use Tunde as a case study. What is he doing between 6 to 8 a.m., 10 to 12 p.m., 1 to 3, 4 to 6, until he winds down for the evening? How long does he use the social mobile platform for? How long is he on TV? Does he go out for sports and gym? And so on and so forth. Who does he gist with? What are the things he's searching for online? What are his recent purchases? You use all of these data, you aggregate them to understand, have a semblance of understanding of your target audience, and then you're best able to weave your story to connect with him so that he naturally gravitates toward it. It could be influence, it could be word of mouth, it could be an online celebrity, it could be the way you've done your packaging, it could be the kind of story you've told through a program that he or she likes. So there are different approaches in trying to tell people a story that they can connect and resonate with. And one of the key things that drive this usually is emotion. Emotion. Emotion is one of the key things that drive consumer behavior. And we have a whole discipline called behavioral economics that breaks this down in terms of decoding all of the salience in terms of why people behave in a certain way and the kind of things that drive emotions, mindsets, attitudes, and for them to take particular kind of actions where, and how they do it. And you need to also be able to understand that even in the piecemeal or nutshell. So emotion is very, very key because no matter how much reasoning you put in terms of the things you want to purchase, sometimes we do things just because we love it. Sometimes it's instinct. We just say, I just need to purchase that product. I don't know why, but I just love it. We've all done that before. You plan for something for months to purchase something, or you go into a store and then you see a pink teddy bear, and all of a sudden you just want it. Probably two, three times the cost than the least you've taken down to the market, and you purchase it on a whim right there and then. It wasn't planned for. It happens to some of us. You see a Nike shoe that you just have to have. It becomes the thing you're thinking about for the next 2, 3 months. It wasn't on your to-do list for the past year. You've been saving money for something else, but you have that. You just have to have that Nike shoe. So these are the kind of things we do. That's how we are. We try to use rationale to justify our actions, but we usually, more often than not, use emotion when we're doing purchasing. So you need to be able to understand that because when we're doing research, research is usually based on how consumers think. You do research, analyze them based on how they're thinking, past 7 days, past 7 weeks, what you think they're trying to do. But usually, where behavioral economics come into place, we try to understand how consumers feel, how consumers think. It's very different from how consumers feel. They will tell you something they like to hear if you put them in a focus group study. They'll probably tell you something that they actually believe in, and that is what the action they would like to take. But in the evening, hanging out with friends, they could do something else. And they didn't actually plan for it. Emotion. That's where magic comes in. I need to be able to understand the logic and the magic of consumer behavior. All right, so let's have another workshop. We've done the first part where we dimensioned the day in the life of Tunde. We're trying to sell him a new TV streaming platform. Now, I want you to dimension further in terms of how he thinks. Secondly, how he feels. How he thinks in terms of day in the life about the current TV platform he's using. But how would you like him to feel about your new TV platform? What are the things you need to put into play? What motivations do you need to do to excite him? That's for you, that's the challenge. To think, how he thinks is easy because you already dimensioned him. How would you like him to feel? That is the actions you would like him to take. So you have to start looking at his influences, word of mouth, the kind of messaging, visual storytelling, what will inspire him, the kind of particular medium, vehicle, or program. Online celebrity, maybe he's a visual person, maybe he loves audio. What key vehicles do you need to weave into so that he can begin to feel, have a certain feeling about your product or service, and then he can gravitate towards it and probably take an action. Let's work on that for like 20 minutes and we'll catch up again. Cheers.